A mystical Finnish forest bathed in the golden glow of the midnight sun. Amu, the birch fairy, hovers between the silver birch trees, sensing a disturbance in the balance of light. In the distance, a dark figure looms near an ancient stone monolith, hinting at the dangers ahead. In the northernmost reaches of Finland, where the summer sun refused to set and bathed the land in an eternal golden glow, there existed an ancient magic known only to the spirits of the forest. The midnight sun was more than a celestial wonder, it was the heart of the land, its warmth sustaining the birch forests, the rivers, and the creatures that called the wild their home. And within these enchanted woods, flitting between the silver-white trees, lived Amu, the birch fairy. She was no taller than a human's hand, with wings like spun frost and a voice as light as the wind through the leaves. She had watched over the birch groves for centuries, ensuring that the magic of the midnight sun remained undisturbed. But something had changed. One evening, as she flew among the branches, Amu felt it, a strange heaviness in the air, like the breath of something ancient and unseen. The golden light that should have painted the trees in warm hues had faded, growing pale and cold. The whispers of the leaves grew uneasy. Something was stealing the light. Amu knew that if the midnight sun dimmed completely, the land would fall into an unnatural twilight, an eternal dusk where neither day nor night reigned. And worse, from the depths of the shadows, something had begun to stir, something that should have remained buried in the underworld. Amu could not let that happen. She had to uncover what, or who, was behind this theft before it was too late. The warning of the elder tree. Amu fluttered swiftly through the birch groves, her wings trembling with urgency. She reached the elder tree, the wisest and oldest birch in all of Finland. It stood at the heart of the forest, its thick, twisted roots curled like the fingers of an ancient guardian, its white bark marked with countless seasons of knowledge. She landed gently on one of its lowest branches. "Elder, something is wrong," she whispered. The tree's deep, resonant voice answered, carried on the rustling of its leaves. "Yes, little one, the balance is breaking, the midnight sun is being drained of its magic." Amu's tiny fingers clenched into fists. Who would do such a thing? A long pause. Then, the elder tree spoke again. "There's one who walks in shadows, a lost soul who once wielded the magic of the skies. His name is Ilmari, the forsaken magician. He once protected the northern lights, but his power waned with time, and bitterness took root in his heart." Amu swallowed hard, "And now he steals the light for himself. He believes that the midnight sun burns too brightly, that it disrupts the balance of light and dark. He wishes to reshape the world in his own image. If he succeeds, the sun will wither, and Finland will fall into endless twilight. And in twilight, darkness will rise." The birch fairy's heart pounded. She had never faced a foe like this before. But she had no choice. "Where can I find him?" she asked. "Beyond the birch woods, where the fells stretch toward the sky. There, at the base of the Pojan pillar, he gathers the stolen light." Amu took a deep breath and nodded. She would stop him. She had to. The elder tree warns Amu that Ilmari, the forsaken magician, has stolen the light of the midnight sun and threatens to plunge Finland into eternal twilight. The journey across the wilds. The birch groves thinned as Amu flew toward the fells. The trees gave way to vast rolling tundra, where reindeer moved like drifting clouds and rivers shimmered like ribbons of silver. The sky above should have been a painting of warm gold and soft pink, but instead, a strange dimness clung to the horizon, as though something unseen was leeching away the light. Amu felt a chill creep along her wings. As she flew over a darkened stretch of land, she noticed something unsettling, shadows that did not belong. They slithered along the ground like living things, reaching for her with long, grasping fingers. Amu darted away just in time. "Tuoni's presence," she thought, shivering. "The underworld stirs." Her fears deepened. If the shadows of Tuoni, the lord of the dead, had begun to rise, it meant that the world was already shifting out of balance. She flew faster. After what felt like hours, she finally reached the Pojan pillar, an ancient monolith that stood at the heart of the fells, its surface etched with forgotten runes. It was said to be a gateway between realms, a place where the spirits of light and dark watched over the land. And standing at its base was Ilmari. The magician was draped in a cloak as black as the void, his once noble face hollowed by time and resentment. In his hands, he held a golden sphere, swirling with light, the stolen magic of the midnight sun. Amu gasped. "Ilmari, you must return the light," she called. The magician turned slowly, his gaze heavy with sorrow and defiance. "Why should I, little fairy?" he murmured. "The sun has ruled unchecked for too long. I will bring balance. I will let the twilight reign." This is not balance, Amu protested. Without the midnight sun, the land will wither. The spirits will fade, and Tuoni's darkness will consume all. Ilmari's eyes flickered with hesitation. But then, his grip tightened on the sphere. If you wish to stop me, you will have to fight me. Amu flies across the vast Finnish wilderness, racing against time as Tuoni's shadow begins to spread over the land. The battle of light and shadow. The air grew thick with magic. Ilmari raised his staff, and shadows leapt from the ground, twisting into serpents of darkness that lunged at Amu. She darted and weaved, dodging the tendrils of night. Summoning the magic of the birch trees, she called forth vines of silver and gold, wrapping them around the magician's arms. He snarled, wrenching free. You cannot win, he shouted. Light is fleeting, night is eternal. Amu's breath came in short gasps. But she had one last trick. Closing her eyes, she whispered an ancient spell, one only the oldest spirits of the forest knew. Her wings shimmered, growing brighter and brighter until she was a blazing star in the dimming world. Then, she unleashed the light. The golden radiance struck Ilmari's staff, shattering the orb of stolen magic. The light exploded outward, racing back toward the sky, rekindling the midnight sun in all its glory. Ilmari staggered, his form unraveling into wisps of shadow. You do not understand, he whispered as he faded. Darkness will always return. Amu watched as he disappeared. Then, she looked up. The sun had returned. The birch fairy faces Ilmari, the rogue magician, as he wields the stolen sun's light, preparing for their battle between darkness and dawn. The keeper of the light. As the land awakened once more, the birch trees straightened, the rivers glowed, and the world sighed in relief. Amu returned to the elder tree. The midnight sun shines again, she said softly. The old tree's leaves rustled in approval. Thanks to you, little one. Amu smiled, settling onto a branch. The world was safe, for now, but she knew that as long as she lived, she would keep watch, because as Ilmari had warned, the darkness would always try to rise. And when it did, she would be ready. The midnight sun is restored, and the spirits of the forest rejoice as Amu watches over the land she has saved from eternal twilight.